Okay, this video is going to be a little different, motivational, and I just completed a gig, delivered. It was a small order from Smash Burger. It was like $235 worth of food, and I just had to walk like a quarter of a mile, but sometimes you have to do that. That's okay. Here we go. It's very cold out, but I'm back in my car now, and I thought, story time. Now, if you follow me, I'm all about, becoming more self-sufficient and not relying solely on a job for income. And my journey, I remember, I kept it very quiet because nobody wants you to change. They want you to live in, their limitations. And I said no, so I hid my life a lot. I lived a double life for a long time. I've said that in other videos. And it was just because I felt I deserved so much more. And I do. And I had a lot taken away from me as a kid. I was really screwed. Anyway, that's why good things happen to good people. Screwed in many ways. I'm going to share a few stories with you. The journey was long. Like, I know what's around the corner. I'm just about to listen to Digital Perspectives on the way home while I get gas and get to my location where I'll work a few lunches. My journey started shoveling shit. I remember I was on Craigslist a lot at the time. I was really big into Craigslist because I got odd jobs that people would hire you, like a day laborer. And this very first one, I've never told anyone this. It was a handful of towns away. The woman paid me top dollar, and they were going away. And, not just going away, the worker was going away. That's what I should say. And she paid someone to clean her yard and clean her doggies poop. And she looked at me like she couldn't believe I walked up to her house, So I said, I'm willing to do it. I need the cash, ma'am. And she was like, well, I'll be paying you cash. She made a deal. I hung in there for 2 weeks. And it wasn't supposed to be 2 weeks. It was supposed to be one. And the woman gave me a couple of $100. And then she said to me, after she watched me a lot and felt me out, she paid someone to provide a service, taking care of a yard. She had landscapers there. She appreciated her property. She was enjoying it. She was able to hire other people to enjoy her property. It wasn't huge, but it was very beautiful. I'm sure it is still very beautiful if she's there. So, South Shore, really close to the water. And she said, my work is not coming back until next week. Do you want the job again? I said, yeah. I said, thank you so much. Then she asked me, why are you doing this? She did ask. And I said, well, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to, I told her my entrepreneurial path that I wasn't aware that it was going to take so long. And she was like, wow. She was like, good luck. Not many people would do that. Next. The lady was really nice to me. Made me a deal, gave me my couple $100 2 weeks in a row. And when you have no money and you're living off of debt, bad debt, and you're taking a chance, that's a lot of money. So then I got this job, this woman, Monica, in Freeport, that I see her around once in a while. And I live in Freeport. And she was going to Italy. And someone said, I can't do it. Watch her house. She's someone who, she gives back to the animal community. She had a lot of cats, a couple of dogs. She does, I know she does. She does, volunteer work for animals. She cares for a lot of stray animals and takes care of them. And she had 2 doggies she took very good care of them. It took them days to get used to me. So this woman went to Italy, and at the last minute she met me, and she actually walked away from her home with her father that lived with her and her child. It was a big deal to go to Italy. They went for, I believe it was 3 weeks. And this is before using the internet was so seamless. It was just the beginning stages. I did have a computer. I did get to send her a couple of videos, but it was delayed and whatnot, but she said when she got back, she was so thrilled that I sent her videos and I let her know I took care of her animals. And I'm allergic to cats, but she had this one room downstairs with a window with a big crate on the side of the house that they could go outside to. She took care of a lot of strays. And I said, as long as I'm not petting them and they're not jumping on me for love. And one cat got away with it and he took me by surprise. I called him King. I couldn't remember all their names. There was one, the cat. I called him King because he kept sitting. Every time I walked in the room, he jumped on the end table. They had their own room. And he just looked at me and purred, like this woman's taking care of us. Where's our mother? 3 weeks I did that. That woman gave me, God, it was $1,000 total. Maybe it was a little more. She gave me money up front, and then she gave me like $700 and something dollars. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was definitely $1,000 in total. 3 weeks I gave my life. I went back to her house twice a day. I walked the dogs twice a day, and I cleaned up the cat stuff and made sure they had water and their food. And she had a nice setup, all the right equipment that, they never went without water if you skipped a couple of days. Cats are survivors. So I did that and I watched the house. She was so grateful. And at first she didn't like me, but she also walked away from a home in someone's hands, but she knew someone who knew me. And afterwards she liked me a lot, a real lot. This woman was very grateful, very thankful. And she couldn't believe how her dogs loved me. They were scared shitless. Then I also, in between that, I worked with a friend, George. He's my mother's neighbor, and he was going through a low time, which we all experience, a lot of people once. He didn't have a job for like a year, and then he's had the same job since then. And I got this job off of Craigslist. This woman was selling an old mother-daughter house someplace near, it was like near Malvern area, that area. I can't remember the exact town. And we scrubbed on our hands and knees. This woman was vicious. She didn't even offer us water. She was a disgusting, disgraceful human being. What a what a knock, what a disgusting individual. But she paid us. And she liked me. And I got my friend George there the next week. I was there for a couple of weeks doing work for her. She was cleaning up a home. She needed help. So she was hiring day laborers off of Craigslist. I wasn't the only one. And I mean, she hired some poor people. She treated them like shit. The woman made me ill. I remember bringing frozen fruit. It was the heart of summer, and a lot of water to give to the other workers. And oh my God, it was so shameful. People like that shouldn't be allowed to live. But she did pay us. And she paid George to sand the floors throughout the house to make it more impressionable to sell this beautiful big house. She actually wanted me to go downstairs. I said, no, I don't go in basements. I'm not going down there. No. I said, you pay me now for what I did. I'm not going down there. I wouldn't go downstairs because I saw what the house looked like, and I did it. This is the kind of stuff I did to get where I am today. I took a chance, and you know what? It didn't have to be that hard. And you know what? The couple of people that could have helped me out financially made my life easier, made it harder. And that's something that is very hard to just rid that, like erase it from your memory. Because it was upsetting. It didn't have to be like that. I didn't have to struggle and do that kind of shit. I was actually shoveling shit. I worked for C. I couldn't stand it. She was disgusting individual. I'll never forget. It was about a decade ago. But Georgie, he needed the work. She paid him. And it was the one time I worked with my friend Georgie. He's my friend's husband, but I could say I worked with George. So I thought you would like some story time. Now I'm going to head toward home, do some lunches. I don't see this day being anything out of the ordinary. I'm going to deliver some lunch, get some gas, and go home and start getting some more work done. Also, I still have my government phone then. So you're talking at least 15 years ago. And I had a really old computer. It was my first one. And it lasted a long time, but I used to be able to, dabble, browsing online like everybody else, getting used to it. And I was browsing Craigslist, and that's how I got those jobs. And that's how I learned about DoorDash, was from Craigslist. That's how I got on the platform, and I was using their app for about a year until, if you watch my other videos, they didn't like the fact that I was recruiting a lot of people and making it happen for them. I was getting people on board. They paid me $600 $400 referral bonuses, that I'm sure of, and I was shooting for a 2,000. And I told people, if you use my referral link and complete all the jobs that you have to within the days to get the DoorDash bonus, get all the pay, get all the tips. Well, if they were giving tips then. And then I would send you $500 in a money order, because I would have their email and then I could communicate with them. And I thought that was a safe way to send somebody $500. I learned about DoorDash from Craigslist. One more addition to the story of watching the house of the woman who went to Italy for 3 weeks and left our house in the hands of a stranger. Her neighbors were very nice. They saw me. They said hello if I needed anything. They were very, caring of their neighbor. She also had a cleaning service. And she did tell me, she said, next week, if someone's here, they are coming once when I'm away to clean, make the beds. I mean, they ran out of the house. This is someone who had money that they can hire people to do things for them. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me. And when she got home, I went to her place and we chit-chatted for 30 minutes. And after feeling me out, not knowing at the time she was feeling me out, she said, didn't you notice? Just so you know, it was the hottest summer. All the windows were open the entire time. No air conditioning. That's one thing. No air conditioning in this house. Big house over there. And when I went in to clean up after the dogs, twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, she had those little pads out that people use for beds. She had a nice setup, all in the corner, cleaning supplies, anything I needed to keep her dogs and to clean, because I had to clean because they were trained to go on the mats. They were left alone all night. So when I walked in, I smelled, a little pee-pee and a little, messy. What are you going to do? That's what she was paying me to do. I put the gloves on. I cleaned up. She wanted me to, wipe down the floor with the antibacterial stuff, the spray, put down a fresh mat, and then I would take them for a walk, give them a snack, leave them alone, and then go back in the evening. So I didn't touch anything. She had a split house, stairs up and stairs down. I went down to take care of the cats. I went upstairs to take care of the dogs. I placed my keys in the water. And if at night I grabbed the mail and I would bring it, upstairs to the living room area, junk mail in one pile. If it looked serious, bills and stuff in another. I kept it neat. There was no reason for me to open up a cabinet. I think once I took a whittle in her bathroom because, I was always just there for like an hour and 20 minutes, twice a day. I was there to do a job. I went and took care of the cats, checked the litter, made sure they had food, give them a little attention, leave the TV on, and then at night I would shut it off. And then I would go upstairs and take care of the dogs, take them for a walk, and that was that. So she felt me out. And the cleaning people were there once. And I said hello. And, the two ladies weren't very nice. But I figured they just didn't understand me. That's okay. I was there to do a job. I wasn't there to worry about what they thought. People are vicious. They're very nasty people. She said to me, didn't you notice? Didn't you smell it? I'm like, smell what? I walked in, I smelled, pee, and I was cleaning, and the windows were open. She lives near the water. Sometimes it smells like rotten eggs. It's different. She was like, the refrigerator was unplugged. And I just sat there and I stared at her. And I was like, what's that have to do with me? She was like, the refrigerator was unplugged. All my food spoiled. And I was like, well, I never touched the fridge. She was like, what? I said, I didn't touch anything. I touched the cleaning supplies, your mail. I told her I used your bathroom once. I did tell her that. I remember that. I said, there was no reason for me to go into your rooms or open the refrigerator. Why would I do that? I told her I left my bottle of water there on the step with my keys, because if I left the house, I also had to lock the door. I wanted it right next to the door, 'cause I had nobody to call on. And she felt me out. She gave me, I think it was $750, and she already gave me money. She gave me over $1,000 to be available twice a day for 3 weeks, cash. And I think she put it together. My cleaning people did that. And people are mean, because you have to understand this refrigerator. Well, if it's the same one, it is huge, larger than my mom's. The 2 big doors that open. What makes you think I'm going to go behind the refrigerator? You can't. I'm going to jimmy it all the way out and pull out a plug out of a wall. Oh, come on. The cleaning people did that. Absolutely. And she put it together. They were angry because they wanted the money. She probably takes very good care of them. Now, I don't know what happened after that, but she believed me by my reaction, my cluelessness. And I was like, well, I never opened your fridge. Why would I notice? She was like, oh, there was no reason for me to. I didn't even open up a cabinet. She left everything I needed on the table. Done. I went and did my job, and I left. That's how I did it for 3 weeks, 21 days straight. Those people, they were nasty. The cleaning people got nasty. They unplugged her refrigerator. I never asked her about that, and I see her once in a while. I wish I had. Did they give you an explanation why they did what they did? It's kind of hard for a refrigerator plug, the huge plugs, especially that size, coming out of the wall, and it's behind the refrigerator, and you can't, there's just enough room on the side of the fridge, for a little space. You got to pull it out if you want to clean. People are nasty. They truly are cruel and mean. They were angry that she didn't ask them. I don't know what her reasoning was that she didn't ask them, but she felt more confident with hiring someone to provide that service for her instead of asking them. So that's a true story.